and welcome to IAS Origin. So today we will be talking about the newly introduced Telecommunication Bills. Yes, it has got the President's assent and now it will become an act. When we talk about Telecommunication Bill, this is one of the most important bill because it is seeking to replace many previous acts like Indian Telegraph Act 1885, the Indian Wireless Telegraph Act 1933, the Telegraph Wires Unlawful Possession Act 1950, and this also made certain changes in the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. Now when we talk about telecommunication, they were being governed by such obsolete and old acts जो कि 100 साल से भी ज़्यादा पुरानी हैं. These laws were needed to be reformed to cope up with the time, because if we talk about the time of 1885, before independence, there was no penetration of mobile phones in the general public, and as in time that acts were made, the penetration was very low. But now, after the coming up of Geo and Digital India initiatives, each and every person owns a mobile phone and the telecommunication network has spread to a larger extent. That is why this law is needed on a greater scale. Also, if we talk about telecommunication, this has been one of the crucial things. For example, if we talk about Jammu and Kashmir ने जब instrument of accession sign किया था इंडिया के संग, there were certain things which were kept with the central government like the finance, the international relations and the telecommunication. Means telecommunication हमेशा से एक बहुत major role play करती है. It is a part of national security. That is why an important act is needed to govern it. So therefore, this new act is a step in good direction. Before talking in detail about the act, let me welcome you to IAS Origin and tell you that you can enroll with us for Prelims cum Mains program, where you will get live classes, one-to-one mentorship session, unlimited recorded access and a personalized strategy plan based on your needs. So let's begin with our topic and talk about the features of the bill. The authorization for the telecom related activity. Now, earlier, prior this, authorization from the central government will be required. Earlier, this authorization was not required. Telecom Regulatory Authority of India license दिया करती थी, but now government authority is needed. Government की permission चाहिए है for any telecom related service, be it establishment, be it operation, be it maintenance, be it expanding the communication. That means government का एक control आ गया है after this act. Next is a power of interception and search. Now, interception means to search what all messages are being sent, what all communication is being carried out. Messages or class of messages between two more persons may be intercepted, monitored or blocked. Now, this is a provision which has been debated. For example, A person sends some message to person B. Now government can intercept this message, and if it finds that वो national security को hamper कर रहा है या फिर वो message से कोई violence create हो सकता है, then government can block that message. A will think that message is reached to B, but the government will block the messages. Same. Under this provision, the telecom services can also be suspended and taken over by the government. For example, national security is a ground on which the telecom service providers like Airtel and Jio can be taken over by the government for a temporary period. So this is a provision for interception. Next feature is assignment of spectrum. Now spectrum will be assigned by auction. Earlier also spectrum was assigned by auction only, but now there is a provision for spectrum reframing. This has created a debate. Reframing means you can make changes in your spectrum. You can upgrade it. For example, a 4G provider spectrum can auction for also 5G providers को upgrade कर सकता है. They can expand the services. This reframing has become a debate by the companies like Jio, Airtel, that they have spent so much on the auction time and now they can be reframed by other providers as well. So this is a new provision. And except for specified uses, auction will not be done. Specified uses here means national security, disaster management, finance, and all these will be out of auction. इसका government auction नहीं करेगी since they are mandatory for unity and integrity of a nation. So the central government may repurpose or reassign any frequency range. Yes, this reassigning of spectrum is debatable because many companies have already spent a huge chunk of money. Next is satellite internet allotments. Now this is something new. Earlier auction was happening. Now सैटेलाइट के थ्रू डायरेक्टली आपको इंटरनेट दिया जाएगा. सैटेलाइट के थ्रू डायरेक्टली लाइक स्टारलिंक करता है. सो दिस इज गुड. द बिल इंट्रोड्यूसेस प्रोविजन फॉर द एलोकेटिंग स्पेक्ट्रम टू सैटेलाइट इंटरनेट. इंडिया की बात की जाए तो एट प्रेजेंट ओनली OneWeb एंड जियो हैव द परमिशन. OneWeb सपोर्टेड बाय भारती एंड जियो. But this will also be beneficial for companies like SpaceX, Starlink. इनकी भी एंट्री इंडिया में हो सकती है for providing internet. So this can be a benefit also, but also a disadvantage क्योंकि इंडिया का साइबर सिक्योरिटी सिस्टम उतना बेटर नहीं है that it can cope up and keep its data safe. So this is a provision again debatable. Next is power to specify standards. Now the central government will specify standards how telecom equipments, infrastructure, network and services needs to be set up. This is something good. This will bring about a standardized development in the telecommunication field. Right of way. This is a facility that seeks a right of way over public or private property to establish telecom infrastructure. Now telecom infrastructure के लिए बहुत सारे cables establish की जाते हैं, optical fibers, and a huge infrastructure is needed. So by this right of way, the government can use public and private property for the infrastructure settlement. Okay. Next is regulation of OTT, over the top platform. Normal call se hatke we do WhatsApp call also, Snapchat calls also. So now this will also be regulated. As a result, this has been removed as service and apps from the definition of telecommunication. Earlier telecommunication service के definition में आती थी, but now they have been removed and now they have come under the Ministry of Telecommunication. They will be guided under the ministry, directly under the government, not these. Okay. Next is protection of users. The central government may provide for measures to protect users, which include prior consent to receive specified messages. You might have heard of many frauds. You open up a message and your data is being hacked. You open up a link and your bank account details are taken away. So all these things were on a huge rise in the recent times as and when the technology was penetrating. So to solve away these problems, some user-friendly provisions are being taken out that you can give a prior consent to what kind of messages you received and they can be blocked from now on. And the advertising messages can also be blocked. Creation of do not disturb registers बन सकते हैं that the official messages won't be received from that. Similarly, one more provision is added. Emergency message. These emergency messages can be sent by the government to all the public by these telecom providers, and the messages which we do not want can be blocked by them. Okay, so this is basically to report the malware of specified messages. So hacking will be reduced by these provisions. Next is appointment to Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. Telecom Regulatory Authority earlier used to see all the telecom related issues, but now their power has been reduced and now it amends the bill to allow individuals with at least 30 years of professional experience to serve as a chairperson and at least 25 years of experience to serve as a member. Earlier, only the secretaries, the IAS officers and IPS officers were able to head the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. But now on, private individuals can also handle it and become a member, but they should have 30 and 25 years of experience respectively. This is a new provision. Next is Digital Bharat Nidhi. You might have heard of Digital Obligation Fund. Obligation fund was being set up. This was done to bring about the development in the area जहाँ पे internet का penetration नहीं है and to make it that. As a result, this fund was established. This fund has not been removed. It has just been renamed under the act as Digital Bharat Nidhi. Okay, so this fund is renamed. The old fund. Then is the offense and penalties. Now many offense and penalties have been brought up. For example, you might have heard of sim woofing. Sim की copy बन जाती थी, sim skimming होती थी. Now all these will become a punishable crime under the new act. So let's see what all punishable offenses are being done. Providing telecom services without authorization. As I said in the first, authorization of central government is mandatory. Now without authorization or without gaining excess, then you have to pay a fine of 2 crore rupees or 3 years of imprisonment. Means the punishments are made stricter. Okay, and then breaching the terms and condition of authorization is also punishable. Now you have obtained the authorization, but you are not going with the terms and conditions. Then also there is a penalty up to 5 crore rupees. This is a civil penalty, not a criminal penalty. That is why इसमें imprisonment नहीं होगा. Okay, next is possession of unauthorized equipment. You are not authorized and you are holding the equipments. Then also it is a penalty of ₹10 lakh. So after authorization, if you are doing any breach, then the civil offense is there, and without being authorized, you also come with the criminal penalty. So this is a punishable offense from now on. Next is adjudication process. The central government will appoint an adjudicating officer. Any issue can be taken to this officer and he will pass an order after the conduct of the inquiry. Now, if you are not satisfied with the officer's order, then they can be appealed to designated appellate committee. From one single person to a committee, hierarchy established in 30 days. 30 days के अंदर आपको एक appeal file करनी होगी. Then if again you are not satisfied with the resolution of the committee, then after 30 days again you can file with the Telecom Dispute Settlement and Appellate Tribunal. You can go to the tribunal and the decision of the tribunal will be final. So this is the appeal process via hierarchy. Next is the trusted source regime. Yes, the bill allows the government to curb the import of telecommunication equipment from the adversary nationals. Now, if you are not in a good terms with a particular nation, उस particular nation के imports in telecommunication can be stopped. ये पहली बार 2022 में इंडिया चाइना के केस में किया गया था, where imports from China were curbed. Now this has become a lawful provision. इसे law के through एक legal status दिया गया है. So these are all the provisions of the Telecommunication Bill 2023. This will definitely be in line with the present times and the needs, and will further help in expanding the internet to all the areas in a friendly manner. So that was all about the Telecommunication Bill. Hope you like the video. Do like and comment. And for more such videos, subscribe to our channel IAS Origin. Thank you.